Hi everyone, it's Laura Dovalo here. I'm so happy that you decided to spend a couple of minutes with me today to learn how to make this interactive surprise birthday cake card. It was actually my talented friend and teammate Carolyn who came up with this fun idea, and I just figured out a way to make it happen. When we move the tab to the right, the top of the cake rotates and a cute little monkey pops out. I started by die cutting a bunch of ingredients out of Smooth White, Craft, Tickled Pink, Summer Splash, and Milk Chocolate, my favorite things, cardstock, using the BIrthday Cake Die-namics. To make it easier to figure out where to place the mechanism, I glued all of the elements to a piece of craft-colored cardstock and cut around the outline with a pair of scissors. Off camera, I also partially die cut the candles so that they would stick together. I used tiny strips of white cardstock to attach the flames to the candles, which I then covered with a layer of glossy accents to give them some shine and realism. I did the same to the frosting die cut to make it look good enough to eat. To save some time, I previously stamped and colored the monkey from Birdie Brown's awesome Birthday stamp set, and now I'm fussy cutting it in such a way that it won't get caught in the slit behind the cake. I'm leaving a margin around protruding parts like the ears and the present, and finishing the cut straight down. For the mechanism, I used the 5th largest die from the Circle Stax Set Die-namics, which measures 2 1/8 of an inch or 5.5 centimeters in diameter. I could have used the circle from the Peekaboo Wheel Die-namics, but the card would have ended up a lot bigger than an A2 size. So to figure out the center of the circle, I die cut another one out of printer paper, folded it in half and once more in half, and used it as a stencil to pierce the cardstock disc. I also die cut 2 of the medium-sized stitched oval word windows and layered them with some liquid glue to create the tab that makes the circle rotate. I'm going to use the smallest circle from the Interactive Swing Die-namics to cut a hole in my panel. It measures 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter in diameter. And to make it easier for you, on the screen I'm showing the exact location of where it'll go. If you don't feel like taking notes of all of these measurements right now, don't worry, they will be in the description box below. So after die cutting the hole on the main panel, I'm going to cut a little slit for the monkey using a craft knife. As Carolyn figured out, the monkey is the perfect size, and the slit will coincide with the edge of the second layer of cake, making this card even more surprising because you can't tell at first glance what's going to happen when the tab is pulled. Before moving on, let's just check that the monkey fits. Since I'm going to attach it to the rotating circle, it'll move in a curve and not perfectly straight up, but we'll see that in a moment. Here I'm centering the main panel on top of a larger panel cut out of gold sparkle cardstock, which is gorgeous. I'm marking the spot where I'm going to attach the rotating disc with a small brad. If you wanted to create an easier version of this card, you could use the notch die from the Peekaboo Wheel Die-namics or a 1-inch hole punch to cut the panels to be able to rotate the circle. But today I wanted to show you another way. Since I don't know the starting position of the monkey, I'm going to temporarily attach him with some washi tape in the final position, with most of his body out of the cake. Then I can flip the panel and add some score tape to the back of the monkey strip. Here I'm attaching the monkey to the rotating circle, and after removing the washi tape, if you're careful and hold the panels together with one hand, you can sort of test it. It's time to glue the main panel to the secondary panel with some foam tape. As you can see, I wrote a note on the back to remember which way the circle is going to rotate, because it's very easy to get confused. And here I'm just getting rid of the release tape. The good thing about not being able to glue the right corner of our card is that we can access the circle in order to attach the tab to it. But first I'm rotating the disc and putting the monkey in its initial position. Part of the head has to stick out. And now let's tackle the most difficult part, attaching the pull tab. I actually cut off a piece and made it a little bit too short the first time. We can only get rid of the curved portion, which means 2/8 of an inch or 6 millimeters. The tab in my second try sticks out 1 inch from the white panel. So actually this won't fit in an A2 sized envelope like I had intended. Okay, we're almost done. I'm smearing some matte adhesive to the back of the cake and gluing it to the panel. Next, we need to adhere the top of the cake to the rotating disc through the hole. Remember, it measures only 3/8 of an inch, so if you're using foam dots like I am, these need to be a little bit smaller. I like to grab my crocodile and cut a small hole in the middle of it, so that it won't touch the head of the brad. If you don't have this type of thick foam dots, you could just glue tiny pieces of regular foam tape around the brad or make small donuts out of cardstock. It's important that the top layer of the cake is higher up than the second layer or it won't rotate. I added a little banner with a heat embossed phrase from the new Sweet Sentiment stamp set and some enamel dots to finish the panel. And now I'm simply attaching it to the card base with some score tape. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you have any questions or comments, I would be happy to answer them. Remember to check out the description box for all the information, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Before I go, I want to send a virtual hug to my dear Carolyn, who shares my passion for interactive card making and who lives far away but is always there for me. Bye bye, until next time.